other guest today who should be paying particularly close attention because he needs to very much so up his game in fantasy next year. Fabs, tell us about our first guest as we welcome him in.
Well, the kids post these videos on TikTok and they go viral. Okay. Mm-hmm. And our guest has one of those videos that have gone viral, and it surrounds the fact that he absolutely positively sucks at fantasy football.
Hey.
Okay.
Yeah. He's like, I'm going to have computer difficulties. Right. Can't hear you anymore.
So let's bring in Tyler Harding. I assume no relation to Tanya. I don't want to get hit in the knees with a pipe. Tyler posted a video on TikTok about his fantasy football punishment for finishing in last place in his league. Tyler, I don't think you'll ever get a better introduction. Maybe you will.
Probably not.
Welcome to the program. So talk about your fantasy league punishment, what you've got to do, and whether or not maybe you had a bit of an issue with your roster, who was on your team, who
start with the punishment. Good God, just spit out a question, my guy.
Start off with the punishment. What is the punishment for finishing last in your league?
Okay, so in this league, we've got a 12-man league, and every year right before the draft, we'll all throw in ideas of what we can do for a punishment. And then we kind of narrow it down to 3 or 4, and then everyone votes on one. So this year, it was that whoever lost had to take the ACT again. And which, when there's 12 people, it's like, oh, that's a good one, because all I have to do is be better than just one of the 12 people. Seems easy. Whoops. But anyways, so, and I'm actually the oldest person in this league as well. So
what are you, like 35? I mean, you look like a young man.
I'm 32.
Yeah, see? So you're right there. You're a young man.
Yeah, I'm still young.
So you got beat by a bunch of kids is what you're telling us.
Yeah, absolutely. So I lost, but then also we didn't want it to be like, you just go in and mark whatever answers. And so we had looked up what the national average was, and the number that we found was 19. And so the idea was you have to get at least a 19. And if I don't get a 19, then we lower it 2 points and you have to take it again. So I got to get a 17. And I haven't gotten my score back yet, so I don't know. And it's been 14 years since I graduated high school. So,
okay. So you walk into this ACT room. I have vague recollections of what this is like, right? Because it's been more than 14 years for me. So you walk into this room, and what's that experience like? Like, what are people? Yeah. Are you by far the oldest person in the room? Is everyone else there 18?
Yeah, 100%. Everyone else there looks like they're like 15 or 16. They're all juniors. So I walk in, and I got there like 10 minutes early because I wasn't sure how like strict it was, because I didn't really remember, right? And I was like, there was like 3 or 4 other people there. I ended up being in a room of about 20 people. And I'm just like, I've got my beard. I'm like so obviously older than everyone else. And I just felt like the big kid, like huddled in the back corner at his desk. And we're sitting like in high school desk, where the desk is connected to the chair. And it was just, I don't know, everyone was looking at me. And then I actually told the proctor as I walked up, because they kind of gave me a funny look. I was like, yeah, I lost my fantasy football league, so this is our punishment. And they were just like dying laughing. They thought it was so funny. I didn't end up telling any of like the kids because I didn't want to like be creepy and talk to these kids.
They probably were so scared of you. They're like, to be that old taking the ACT, like, did he like murder somebody and get held back? Like,
right.
Like what kind of person is that age? Oh, right. It's still in high school.
Yeah.
Woo.
So there were 75 questions total? Is that how many you had to answer?
There was like 5 sections, and this was the other part that was the worst, is like they give you like an hour on the first part, and it's like 75 questions, and then you get an hour, and that was math, I think. Oh no, that was, I don't remember what order, but there was a math section, a reading section, an English section, and a science section, and then a 5th section that I guess was randomized for everyone, and it was like another of one of those 4 sections to, I don't know why, but all of it's time, so you can't go ahead. So I had to sit there for like 5 hours in this room with all these high schoolers, just feeling so awkward the whole time.
For the math, Can you can't use a calculator or anything like that. So it's all on pen and paper, right?
So you can bring a calculator. I didn't bring one though, because
you got it on your phone though.
Yeah, but they don't. I couldn't bring my phone in. You have to like leave.
So wait, so
outside.
You can use a calculator for the math, and people should nail all the questions.
What are you talking about? Like you clearly haven't been near a school for a million years.
Wait a minute.
He could Google every answer.
I've got an ACT question right here. A car averages 27 miles per gallon. A gas costs $4.04 per gallon. Which of the following is closest to how many? How much the gas would cost for this car to travel 2,727 miles? That's easy if you have a calculator.
Right. Yeah. So the ones like that, and I didn't bring a calculator because I figured, like, we'll just see how it goes. But those ones you can just figure out on pen and paper, or with a calculator, it wouldn't be too hard. But there were some that were more like the concept of like, they got all the letters and to the whatever power divided by XY to the fifth power times Y to the fifth power. And those ones, and you're supposed to like simplify it and figure out what's like those ones. Those are the ones I was like, nope.
Did you study for this before you went back? Were you like
1 second?
Okay.
How
hard was it?
It was. I felt really confident up until like 2 days before, and then I was like, I haven't done any of this in a long time. Like I'm toast. And then I went in. I was kind of nervous. Like obviously, I don't really care what my score is because of, I've gone to college. I'm done with all that, but I don't want to have to take it again. But then as I took it, I was like, okay, I feel like everything was more like, rather than like remembering really specific facts, it was more like conceptual and like understanding stuff. And so for the most part, I feel pretty good. The math was definitely the one where there's a few questions where I was like, oh boy, no idea.
All right. So
and move on.
Let's talk about how you got to this place. What happened with your fantasy football team? Who was on the team? Who sucked? Who broke your heart? What bad decisions did you make?
Before he answers that, this is a salary cap draft. So that's the league we're talking about. It's a redraft team. It's a traditional roster, except for the fact that there were three flex spots. I ran out of air there. What the heck? So that's what we're looking at here. And now what went wrong?
Okay. So like she said, it's a salary cap. So my kind of idea going in was I was going to spend big. Everyone has 200 fantasy dollars, right? So I was going to spend big on 2 guys at the beginning and try to get 2 guys that I felt like were going to be powerhouses for my team, and then wait until the end of the draft and get some sleepers, hopefully. But so I ended up, my first 2 picks were Justin Jefferson, who got hurt, obviously, and Devontae Adams, who had a real bummer of a year. So I spent, I think, about 130 of my $200 just on those 2 guys. Yeah. So in the league, like the high guys typically go around $70. And so I got Justin Jefferson, and then Devontae Adams I got for like 53 or 54. So it was a good deal at the time, but then obviously didn't end up being one. But I'll read you guys my roster, who I had. I ended up getting a good deal on Lamar Jackson. So I had Lamar Jackson as my quarterback. My 2 running backs were Kenneth Walker III and David Montgomery, who at the first half of the season was way better than people expected. Then Justin Jefferson, Devontae Adams. Then I had David Njoku for my tight end. And then my 3 flex guys were Hollywood Brown, Jamal Williams, who I thought was going to be good because
disappeared.
That was nothing.
He did nothing. And then after what's his name? After Nick Chubb went down, I got Jerome Ford off waivers. So that was kind of my lineup going after week 1. And so like on paper, looking at my roster versus the rest of my league, I felt super solid.
Yeah.
And then obviously Justin Jefferson got hurt. Kenneth Walker and David Montgomery got hurt at different times. Devontae Adams didn't do well. Hollywood Brown fell off a cliff after a few weeks. Jamal Williams. Anyways, and in the past, my other problem is in the past, and I told you guys before the show, but I actually lost my league 2 years ago as well. But in the past, my problem was panicking and like, okay, these guys are getting hurt. I've got to have good players right now. So I trade away my Justin Jefferson to try to get a few guys. But then by the end of the season, I've got a bunch of lower level guys, and then you're just guessing which flex guy you should be starting as a starter. And then, so this year I was like, no, I'm not going to overreact. I'm not going to panic. I'm going to hold on. And then every week their value just went down and down and down. And then I lost.
What do you think, Fabs? What would your advice be in this set of circumstances?
I will say this. I mean, luck is a big part of fantasy football, winning and losing. And unfortunately, you had some bad luck when you lose Jefferson, especially. I don't know that many people who did very well who had Justin Jefferson, because when you sink your first pick into a player that misses most of the season and he is an elite player, that's rough. My advice would be that you should maybe reach out to Lindsay Rhodes and myself next season, and maybe we can help you and not finish last, and you could actually go. Now, I don't know if it's the same punishment every year.
You're going to go worst to first?
But you could go worst to first.
Yeah.
Okay.
And then instead of posting a TikTok video about how you suck, we'll get you like a trophy smack belt, and you can walk around with the belt around your shoulder or around your waist. And then you can make fun of the dude who finished in last, who maybe has to take the ACT test or whatever.
My rags to riches story.
There you go.
Right. Exactly.
We will sponsor you, but not financially.
Absolutely. Perfect.
Yeah.
So actually,
nothing.
Because
Tyler, you wouldn't be a good financial investment coming off of what you just did last year,
yeah,
but we're here to help you.
Perfect.
So we could have you back or come draft season. We could formulate a plan with you to go into this draft. Let's rig this thing. Let's tilt this in your favor. Whatever it takes.
That'd be awesome. Yeah.
Yeah. We're fine with cheating, right, Fabs? I don't know if this counts as that, but we are good with that.
I'm not going to say I'm good with cheating, but I'll help Tyler.
Okay.
Tyler, you have to understand, all is fair in love and fantasy football when it comes to Lindsay Rhodes. She will literally do whatever she has to do.
Whatever.
To win.
Yeah.
Whatever she has to do.
Yeah. And I think it sounds like, especially in this type of a league, because I think you didn't do anything wrong with your draft. Your draft is fine, right? You knew what you were doing here.
Right.
Maybe there's a little bit more spread out the depth, so that if a guy goes down, your whole team doesn't fall apart, right? That might be the lesson learned, but you don't want to overcorrect, because how frequently is it that, a Justin Jefferson that you're going all in on, gets hurt, and you have to deal with what we dealt with last year with his quarterback also getting hurt, right? That was just a perfect storm of awfulness from a fantasy standpoint in ways that you can't necessarily predict. But it's the navigating of the waiver wire and trying to zig when those zags come your way. And so maybe we can help you next year in that department.
Yeah, that'd be awesome.
All right. So
obviously use all the help I could get.
So first assignment is you have to let us know when your ACT score comes in.
Definitely.
And then we'll revisit before the draft. We'll figure this out. We'll get you on top. Because no more Fabs, you didn't hear it. When he lost 2 years ago, he had to do the Waffle House challenge, which other people, of course, are familiar with.
I had some technical difficulties, but you guys couldn't see me. How many waffles? How many did you eat?
So I had to be there for 24 hours, and each waffle took off an hour of my time. I was there for 12 hours and ate 12 waffles. So I went in at about 7 in the morning, and I just kind of set up shop in the corner. I took my laptop so I could just work there. And I just told them, just keep the waffles coming.
Will you ever eat a waffle in your life again, or have you?
I don't know if I have. I definitely have not paid for a waffle since then.
You haven't paid for, what does that mean?
I haven't gone out to eat intentionally. I'm going to go to IHOP and get waffles or whatever. But maybe at home or something in those last
Did you get sick? When you went home, were you popping Imodiums, or what were you doing?
I was.
Leave it to Fabs.
I think I was a little backed up for a few days.
The grossest picture possible.
Whoa! Right? Well, I mean, you eat all that gluten and yuck and stuff like that. I mean, you might have a little gastric upset going on. You never know.
Tyler Harding.
Punishment.
Did you even say his name at the top of the show, Fabs? I think
Yes,
you were
I
like,
did.
our guest
If you
took the
remember,
ACT
I
and he
asked him,
sucked
I
at
said
fantasy.
he's not related to Tanya Harding.
That's right. Okay. Sorry.
That's right. No relation, by the way. But
I apologize.
Actually, it would be kind of funny if it were, but that's okay.
Yeah. When I was growing up,
Because
we would
then
get
no
phone
one
calls
would want you to
looking
finish
for her.
last because they'd be afraid you'd come after him with a lead pipe. You think you're going to put me in a Waffle House or make me take the essay?
I'm going to call Aunt Tanya and have her take care of you.
I love it.
Guys. All right, Tyler. Thank you so much for coming on to tell us about your weekend with the high schoolers. I hope that you pass. Part of me kind of hopes that you don't, though. Like, just no, because it's better content for you.
Tyler.
It's better. Like, how many views has that TikTok had? How many views?
It's just about. I looked this morning. It was at just under 6 million views on that.
Come on. Is part of you hoping that you don't pass so that you can go back again and like you're an influencer. Like you get enough of these videos and like you have influencer status.
No, I think I told someone I was going to come talk to you guys, and they said, "Well, it's better if you lose next year because then you'll have another video that you can post about your punishment." So,
totally. So you can lean into this. You are the face of shitty fantasy football managers, and like
I know it's like what a world.
That's fine.
What a world we live in. If you had posted, like, say that you go worst to first and you post a video next season about how you won a championship, no one's going to give a rat's ass.
Right. No one cares.
Okay. We don't care. 500 views, but boy, I suck. And I got to go do this. Almost 6 million. That's is what it is.
Yes. It's been pretty funny. And I mean, it's a cool experience for sure. And it's been fun, but it's funny. Like what led to it, you know?
I love it. Well, I'm invested now. We're going to make sure you win next year. Sorry to the rest of your league that you've been a part of for 5 years, but we're going to get Tyler to the top. Thank you so much for coming on. Appreciate it.
Thanks, brother. I appreciate it, man.